In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 NFL games happening on October 6, 2024, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 NFL games after fully watching this video. One thing before we start, if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. New York Jets versus Minnesota Vikings. 2 teams looking to gain momentum and build on their season performances will face off this Sunday when the Minnesota Vikings take on the New York Jets in London. The Jets, sitting at 2-2, are aiming to bounce back after a disappointing loss to the Denver Broncos in a lackluster game. On the other hand, the Vikings have been a pleasant surprise this season, starting with an impressive 4-0 record. They are now pushing for a 5th consecutive win to maintain their status as the NFL's only unbeaten team. The Jets' 2 victories this season have come against teams with a combined 2-6 straight-up record, which raises questions about their overall competitiveness, especially after their home loss to the Broncos. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers appeared sluggish and out of sync last week, and traveling to London might not do much to rejuvenate him. The Minnesota Vikings, meanwhile, have been one of the season's standout teams, boasting a top 5 offense and defense in terms of scoring. However, international games often present challenges due to long travel and subpar field conditions. Despite this, I anticipate the game will be tighter than expected, partly because the Jets' recent 10-9 loss has skewed public perception. It's important to note that weather played a role in stifling offense in that game. While both teams have room for improvement, the Jets will be eager to redeem themselves after last week's defeat, and the Vikings will be keen to avoid being labeled as pretenders with a potential loss here. Errors will likely come from both sides, possibly due to the elements, but the Vikings' ability to control the clock by running the ball against the Jets' weaker defense should allow them to stretch their lead in the second half. Although Rodgers will try to rally the Jets late in the game, it likely won't be enough. Given the Vikings' strong form, I'm not going to overcomplicate this. Minnesota is too hot right now to bet against. So the Minnesota Vikings to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. While this might seem like just another London game, it's worth noting that these international matchups have occurred in various stadiums over the years. This particular game will take place at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and all 8 NFL games held there have seen a minimum of 40 points scored. Soccer stadiums, like the one in Brazil where the Eagles and Packers clashed, sometimes lead to high-scoring affairs, and this game has the potential to follow suit. Even without considering the venue's history, the projected point total seems too low. The Vikings have given up the most passing yards in the league, and they'll now face Aaron Rodgers, who will be motivated to bounce back after a subpar offensive performance against Denver. The Jets have already demonstrated in Week 3 against the Patriots that they can be a dangerous offensive unit when they're in rhythm. They should be able to move the ball through the air against Minnesota's leaky defense. Meanwhile, the Vikings lead the NFL in passing touchdowns and rank 2nd in passing yards per attempt, making this a game where both teams can light up the scoreboard. Evaluating the Jets' true potential remains tricky because their recent competition hasn't been stellar, with their last 3 opponents combining for just 4 wins. They were also blown out by the 49ers in Week 1, further muddying the picture. On the other hand, while the Vikings are 4-0, they nearly squandered a big lead to the Packers last week, resulting in the overhitting. Despite different circumstances, both teams have hit the over in their last 4 meetings, and the Vikings haven't scored fewer than 23 points in any game this year. The Jets' pass defense might seem strong on paper, but they've faced lackluster passing attacks from the Patriots, Titans, and Broncos, which could make their rankings somewhat inflated. The matchup between Justin Jefferson and Sauce Gardner will be a highlight, but I also expect Sam Darnold to perform well in this revenge game. When the Vikings take a lead, they'll likely focus on running the ball to wear down New York's defense, forcing the Jets to rely heavily on Rodgers and the passing game. Though Minnesota has racked up 8 interceptions in 4 weeks, Rodgers is typically careful with the football, and the Vikings rank last in passing defense. Rodgers should do enough to keep the Jets in the game. New York should improve on their performance from last week. Rodgers threw for 281 yards against the Patriots, and with Minnesota's secondary giving up 300 379 passing yards last week, he has a good chance of delivering his best performance of the season. The Vikings have been consistently scoring, putting up at least 28 points in 3 of their 4 games. While the Jets may contain Darnold to an extent, he's been sharp, completing 68% of his passes. Additionally, Minnesota's rushing attack is thriving, averaging 124 yards per game, and they'll be up against a Jets defense that ranks 20th against the run. The over has hit in 4 of the last 5 matchups between these teams, and both offenses have the firepower to surpass 20 points each. I'm expecting a close finish, possibly around 24-20, making over the projected total as our full game total pick. Miami Dolphins versus New England Patriots. Week 5 of the NFL season continues on Sunday with a highly anticipated American Football Conference East showdown between the Miami Dolphins and the New England Patriots. This marks the first encounter between the two teams this season, but Miami dominated their 2023 meetings, winning both contests. The Dolphins secured a 24-17 victory in New England on September 17th and followed it up with a more comfortable 31-17 win at home on October 29th. Both teams enter the matchup looking to gain some momentum in what has been a rocky start to their seasons. While this American Football Conference East battle may not be considered a marquee matchup in Week 5, with both teams sporting identical 1-3 records, there are still opportunities for value. Miami's starting quarterback, Tyler Huntley, is set to make his second consecutive start, and his debut last week was nothing short of disastrous. Huntley struggled mightily in Monday Night Football as the Dolphins were blown out at home by the Tennessee Titans, a team that had been winless until that point and was also relying on a backup quarterback, Mason Rudolph. Now, Miami faces the challenge of traveling on a short week, with Huntley still trying to grasp head coach Mike McDaniel's complex offensive scheme. On the other hand, the Patriots haven't fared much better recently but have had the tough task of playing on the road against elite defenses, such as the 49ers and Jets. New England has only played one home game this season, which came back in Week 2, where they pushed a strong Seattle team to overtime before losing on a last-second field goal. They also managed to pull off an upset on the road against the Cincinnati Bengals in Week 1. While Jacoby Brissett, the Patriots' veteran quarterback, may not offer much upside, he provides a level of stability that Tyler Huntley lacks. Brissett's experience contrasts sharply with the unsteady play of Huntley, giving New England at least a more consistent option under center. The Dolphins' lone victory this season came in Week 1, a narrow home win over the Jacksonville Jaguars, who remain winless at 0-4. Miami barely escaped with that win, relying on a late-game fumble by Jaguars running back Travis Etienne at the goal line. Even when Tua Tagovailoa was healthy and leading the offense, the Dolphins were struggling. Without him, they've completely collapsed. Despite having a more talented roster on paper, Miami has not been able to put things together, and head coach Mike McDaniel has yet to prove he can formulate a successful game plan without Tua. The Dolphins have managed to score 12 or fewer points in each of their last 3 games, and last week's loss to Tennessee saw them produce just 184 total yards. With those struggles, it's difficult to believe they'll suddenly improve while playing on the road. New England certainly has its own issues, particularly on offense, but the advantage of playing at home could make a significant difference. The Dolphins have been dismal against the spread, failing to cover in their last 6 games as underdogs. Given Miami's ongoing offensive woes, the New England Patriots to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Dolphins' offensive struggles are clear, having failed to score more than 12 points in each of their last 3 games. It doesn't matter that they have playmakers like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle if their quarterback, Tyler Huntley, can't get the ball to them. Meanwhile, the Patriots haven't fared much better on offense, mustering just 16 total points over the last 2 weeks. Jacoby Brissett isn't the type of quarterback to stretch the field, and even if he were, New England's offensive line is too shaky to give him the time needed to make those plays. Both teams have struggled mightily to score this season, with neither managing to break the 20-point mark in any of their games thus far. Despite Miami giving up 31 points to Tennessee last week, that figure is misleading. The Titans only managed 244 total yards of offense in that contest. On the other hand, New England's defense should benefit from a significant drop in competition this week. The Patriots have faced a tough slate of quarterbacks to start the season, including Joe Burrow, Geno Smith, Aaron Rodgers, and Brock Purdy. This week, they'll be up against against Tyler Huntley, who is still trying to find his footing in a short week. Offensively, the Patriots have been one of the league's worst teams, averaging just 13 points per game, which ranks 31st in the NFL. Their passing game has been almost non-existent, ranking last in the league with an average of 112.3 passing yards per game. While New England has had some success running the ball, they'll be facing a Dolphins defense that remains healthy in their front seven. Additionally, New England's offensive line has been hit hard by injuries, with 3 linemen on the injury report, including center David Andrews, who is out for the season with a shoulder injury. It's hard to envision how the Patriots will consistently move the ball in this game. On the defensive side, New England has been solid, ranking 15th in the league by allowing 22 points per game. Meanwhile, Miami's offense is clearly struggling with Tyler Huntley at the helm. It's the Dolphins will put up big numbers. I had hoped to find a reason to back the over, given the low projected total, but the outlook for either offense is bleak. This game is likely to be a slow, methodical battle, where both teams struggle to score. A race to 17 points seems like the most realistic scenario. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Carolina Panthers versus Chicago Bears. The Carolina Panthers are heading to Soldier Field in Chicago, Illinois, to face off against the Chicago Bears. The Panthers have struggled early in the season, currently holding a 1-3 record, placing them last in the National Football Conference South. Meanwhile, the Bears have been slightly more successful, with a 2-2 record that puts them in 3rd place in the National Football Conference North. In their last meeting, Chicago narrowly edged out Carolina with a 16-13 victory. In this matchup, the smart money is on the Bears, particularly since they're playing at home, where they have excelled this season. Chicago has won both of its home games so far, defeating Matthew Stafford and the Rams, and also securing a victory over the Titans in Caleb Williams' debut. Though Caleb Williams has not received the same level of attention as fellow rookie Jaden Daniels in Washington, the Bears' young quarterback has shown considerable growth over the last 2 weeks. He demonstrated his ability to throw deep with 363 passing yards against the Colts and showcased his efficiency by completing 73.9% of his passes without any turnovers against the Rams. Adding to their advantage, Chicago will face the league's worst scoring defense, as the Panthers allow a staggering 32 points per game. For context, the Rams rank just above Carolina, allowing 29 points per game. Carolina's defense also ranks 29th against the run, and Bears running back DeAndre Swift is coming off a strong performance with 93 rushing yards and a touchdown. As the Bears' new roster pieces develop chemistry, the Panthers are struggling, with veteran quarterback Andy Dalton serving as a temporary solution for a much bigger issue. Chicago is 2-0 at home this season, making them a solid choice for this game. When looking at recent betting trends, the Bears are 6-3-1 against the spread as favorites in their last 10 home games, while the Panthers have struggled with a 3-7 record against the spread in their last 10 road games. Neither team has displayed an explosive offense, but both have capitalized on weak defensive opponents in recent matchups. Chicago should have little trouble moving the ball against Carolina's porous defense, but Andy Dalton is likely to face difficulties when going up against Chicago's 8th-ranked pass defense. Given these factors, the Bears are favored not only to win but also to cover the spread, making them the recommended pick for the full game. Chicago seems ready to take more risks with their offense, allowing Caleb Williams to air it out against a Panthers defense that ranks among the worst in the league. There is minimal pressure on Williams in this situation, as it's an early afternoon game at home against a struggling opponent. Although no one within the Bears locker room is likely to admit it, Williams will be eager to show why he was chosen ahead of Jaden Daniels, and this game could be his breakout moment. He will likely get support from the run game, which will help extend drives and keep Carolina's defense on the field. The Panthers are 29th in the league against the run, which should allow Chicago to maintain control of the ball and generate scoring opportunities. On the other side, while Andy Dalton may be nearing the twilight of his career, he has proven to be a more effective option than rookie Bryce Young at this point. Dalton led Carolina to 36 points against the Raiders and 24 against the Bengals, showing he can still move the ball. Though Carolina's offense has shown signs of life since switching to Dalton, their defensive struggles remain a significant issue. On the other hand, the Bears have made clear improvements through the first 4 games of Caleb Williams' tenure, and this matchup presents another opportunity for Williams to post solid numbers against a weak Panthers defense. With both teams capable of exploiting defensive weaknesses, betting on the game to go over the projected total seems like the best choice for the full game. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.